What's up, y'all? It's your boy, eBay Fight Predictions, with a little cool Sunday video before the fights start. I think in like 2 weeks from Max and Cater, and I give you guys my predictions. I was thinking about 2021 and the fights to make, and I wanted to make a top 15 uh, for the fights to make in 2021. These are I feel like fights that all of us we want to watch, we want to check out and stuff like that. And yeah, let's get to it, man. Um, and at number 15, I know you guys are gonna probably laugh at this. You got to go Luke Rockhold versus Chris Weidman. The reason why I feel like this is a fight we need to see in 2021. Both guys. Well, I will say Weidman's coming off a win, but both guys have been through their trials and errors. Both guys are champions. Both guys are trying to reclaim some respect. And I'm actually kind of interested in how this would go in a rematch. I thought the first fight was a really, really fun fight. The first two rounds, nice scrambles, decent striking, you know. But I feel like really when Weidman threw that wheel kick, I think it was over after that, and it was the dumbest thing he's ever done, and that really killed Weidman's career, right? But at the same time, Rockhold, he didn't do too well right after, so it's like I kind of feel like these guys are at a decent level with each other and are very well matched with each other. They're guys that are great. They have decent striking to transition into their grappling. I think that's where they're great at is their grappling. Weidman has great wrestling, awesome top pressure, jiu-jitsu. He's really good chokes from top. Same thing with Rockhold, another guy doesn't necessarily have really great. Well, I wouldn't say jiu-jitsu, great wrestling, but his jiu-jitsu and his top game is just amazing. And I would say he's a little, I guess, the better striker out of the two. But I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's a good matchup, and I like Rockhold a lot, and I want to see Rockhold bounce back. I feel like this is a winnable fight for Rockhold, and I feel like this is a matchup that Weidman wants to get some redemption. And then if he can come off like what, let's say he beats Rockhold, Omari, and Makadev. I know he's scheduled to fight Uriah Hall. Assuming he beats Uriah Hall, that's 3 fights in a row. He's in a good spot. I feel like the Uriah Hall is a winnable fight for him, and I think Rockhold is a good fight for him. And if he can win that, I think he's in a good spot. But at number 14, the fight I want to see in 2021, Cody Garbrandt versus Jose Aldo. I think this is a great matchup. I know I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I don't have that cheater TJ Dillashaw in my list right now. I don't want him on here. I don't think he deserves to fight Aldo. I don't think he should be fighting Corey Sandhagen with his punk ass. But he let Frankie Edgar take care of that business. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna dwell on that fool. But the Garbrandt versus Aldo fight, I think, is a great fight. I think these guys are I would say they have fast hands, fast twitch, muscle fibers, great explosive power. But what really makes this interesting is that I feel like we haven't really seen someone, maybe besides TJ, go really kick heavy against Garbrandt, and I think leg kick heavy. And I think Aldo has been using the leg kicks. He used it against Jan, used it against Marlon Vera. I think it'll be really interesting how Garbrandt deals with him. And I think Garbrandt, as much as I'd love to see him fight Davis and Figueiredo, I think Garbrandt is weight class is bantamweight, and I think he has business to take care of in that weight class. And I would love to see Garbrandt versus Petr Yan one day. I think it would be an amazing fight. But this is an awesome fight, for Garbrandt to make a statement, against Aldo. It would be telling us that let's say he can finish Aldo quicker than Yan, he could be like, oh, this and that to Yan, and they already have banter. They have that little video altercation together. I think behind the stage or in the backstage of UFC 245. I think that's great. The storyline's already there. Him and Aldo would be a banger, and if Aldo can be, and I think Aldo can really beat Cody too. I think it goes both ways. I don't want to disrespect Aldo and only talk about Cody's way of success, but I think Aldo, I think he'll have somewhat of an advantage in this fight. I think it's a scrappy fight, and I really like to see it. But at number 13, I think the fight to make in 2021, Korean Zombie versus Josh Emmett. I don't hear a lot of people talking about that. I love this fight. I really do. Obviously Josh Emmett's dealing with an injury that he got in the Shane Burgos fight, but he's coming back. So he's gonna be coming back this year. And I think him and Korean Zombie would be crazy. That would be nuts. And I honestly feel like since Zombie's coming off the loss to Ortega, I wouldn't say he needs to be doing gatekeeper duties, but like I think he needs to earn. I wouldn't say earn a spot, but you know, keep his spot. I think that's the best way to say it. And I think, since the loss to Jeremy Stevens that Josh Emmett has, he has rebounded greatly with the win over Michael Johnson, Rashard Bektik, and Shane Burgos. He's been fighting under. I feel like he deserves an opportunity at the top five guy. Some people consider him the dark horse of the division. Um, I don't know if I consider him that. I feel like he was a top five guy not too long ago, and I think he's making a comeback. Honestly, that's how I look at him. And I think it'd be awesome to have Josh Emmett and Korean Zombie fight. It'd just be the battle of the overhands. It'd be awesome to see who knocks out who. It'd be great. I think it'll be crazy. But at number 12, the fight to make in 2021, Jessica Andrade versus Valentina Shevchenko. I've talked about this fight. I, I mean a ton of times. I love this fight. I think Jessica Andrade is the right test for Valentina Shevchenko. I think Valentina, since Nunez or Holly Holm or I wouldn't even say Juliana Pena, but since those, or no, actually Joanna, those are like the last really high level opponents she's really faced. This Jessica this Caitlin Chukagian, fucking Jennifer Maya bullshit that they've been throwing her way. It's just not interesting to watch. I was okay with the Liz Carmouche matchup because Liz had the win over her, and I was okay with that. But it's getting ridiculous now. These girls are not at her level, and it's just and just look at what Jessica did to Chukagian. Like that should tell you something, right? And look at what I know Calvillo is coming off a loss, but look at what Calvillo did to Jessica I. Like what is going on here? So it's ridiculousness with that division. I think Andrade will pose the right questions. She added really awesome head movement in the Rose fight. I think she's gonna bring that back, or maybe she might not. But she just brings this explosiveness and this craziness that's kind of hard to tame sometimes. Like some of the best girls in the world can't tame it. Like Joanna, Rose was able to Rose had a hard time in that second fight, but she was able to survive it. And Weili Zhang, but not a lot of girls do. Like Chukagian, Rose, fell victim to that craziness and that wildness and that chaos. What's the girl's name? Oh, I forgot her name. Ooh, what's her name? It's not. Yeah, Karolina Kovacevic. That's her name. Jessica Andrade ended her career. I don't care what nobody says. Jessica Andrade ended that girl, and she has not been the same since that knockout, you know. But I think that would be a great fight for Valentina. I think it would really test Valentina. At number 11, I might shock some people at this. Jairzinho Rosenstrike versus Derrick Lewis. I feel like it's one of the fights to make in 2021. This is craziness. I know Derrick Lewis was supposed to fight Curtis Blades. Um, I'm not that interested in the Curtis Blades fight as much as I was last year. I feel like kind of Curtis lost his opportunity. Um, you know I don't know. It's just such a weird thing. Obviously they're gonna rebook it, but I really love this fight with Jorginho and Derrick. I don't know if it's how similar they look to each other, but I feel like this is a great fight to make. Um, you know, I don't. It's weird, and also I could say adding to this, they could probably do Curtis Blades versus John Jones. To give Curtis something, and as a reward. But it just unless you run it back with Derrick and Curtis, I feel like this is the fight to make. I feel like Jarzinho is so left out in terms of those, heavyweight rankings. And, obviously I know he got knocked the fuck out by Francis Ngannou and got his ass sat down like a fucking a sack of potatoes. But, he had a decent fight with Junior Dos Santos, got the dub. And I feel like it'd be awesome to see him fight Derrick. I think it'll be really great. It'll be a striker's delight. At number 10, the fight to make in 2021. Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira is the fight to fucking make. It is ridiculous that Adesanya has wiggled his way to that light heavyweight title shot, but I am confident that Jan will take care of business there. And after he does that, they should make this fight. Glover has gotten screwed. It is disgusting what they've done with Glover, and it is what it is. It's like it's gross. That's what it is. You don't do that. You don't do a champ fight when you have a clear number one contender. You just don't do that. It's not right, but it is what it is. And at number 9, one of the fights I think to make in 2021, Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. Not for an interim title. I think a 5-round main event, number one contender spot. I think that's a great fight for Costa and a great fight for Whittaker. I feel like Whittaker is just taking these contenders out. It's amazing. I've doubted him. I doubted him against Cannonier. I doubted him against Till. He has proven me wrong, and this guy has made a legitimate. And honestly, we think about it. 2020. I guess I would give him 2020 comeback fighter of the year. The way he's come back since that Adesanya loss. And I think that's an awesome fight to make. Both guys have losses to Adesanya. Both guys have, are very stylistically different, and I think it's compelling, and I think it'll be a fun fight to watch, and we'll really see what Costa's made out of. If Costa, can last 5 rounds with Whittaker, and it'll be really awesome to watch. But at number 8, the fight to make in 2021, Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. They have to make this fight. This is insanity that Jorge has been doing this, hiding and ducking from this guy, but they have to make this fight. I felt like they, before maybe they could wait and hopefully one of these guys gets a belt, but obviously that didn't happen. If Colby would have got the belt and he would have fought Jorge, the fight would have been massive, but it didn't happen, and that's the sad part about it. But I feel like they should make the fight anyway. Right now, with Colby coming off that win over Woodley and Jorge doing that, tremendous thing. Doing the 5 days notice fight with Usman. He got a lot of respect for that. And I think this is the time to do it now. I feel like the fans want to see it. I just I think they should do it now. And at number 7, the fight to make at 2021, Conor McGregor versus Justin Gaethje. I know this might weird people out, but I think this is more compelling than Conor versus Dustin. I know Justin is coming off that pretty bad loss to Khabib and got destroyed and got humbled a little bit. He was running his mouth. But I think it would be awesome for these guys. I feel like Justin, his holes, he does have holes in his striking, but his holes that he showed in the jiu-jitsu, I don't think will play a factor in the Conor fight. And Conor's holes you see in his, I wouldn't say he's a bad grappler. I guess I would say his grappling cardio. I would say he has a grappling cardio issue. But I feel like those fights, I think will be awesome. With those two, I think this will be an awesome fight. I think it'll just be madness, man. You can't really count Justin Gaethje out, but at the same time, you gotta look at the facts. Eddie and Dustin finished Gaethje, and we saw what Conor did to those two guys. But at the same time, it's MMA math isn't always the number one answer. But I think this would be, I think it'll be fireworks straight up. I think it's a fight that we need to watch, and I honestly feel like Khabib is retired, and I really do think he's gone. I think they will fight for a belt one day, and I think that's a fight we need to see in 2021. And at number 6, Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega is a fight we need to see, man. They need to make this fight, man. This is a great fight. I feel like both guys kind of need it. Volkanovski really needs it. Coming off that controversial win over Max, a lot of people were calling him a paper champ. I honestly felt like he really defeated Max in the first fight. The second fight was really close, and I thought Max looked amazing in that fight, and I felt like Volkanovski was surviving and doing his thing, and he didn't look as, he looked good, but I think Max looked awesome in that second fight. And I think that's what kind of kills it for Volkanovski is that he wrestled, he did all the scrappy things. He was a hustler in there basically. He was hustling, right? But it's like, man, you don't get the knockdowns and stuff like that, and that's all people remember, and that's the sad thing for him. Even though he hustled his way in, he got the takedown, he did his work. It is what it is. But you know, with Volkanovski, he's a great fighter, and I feel bad for him. He gets a lot of hate. But Brian Ortega, the same thing. Ortega, he's always had this mantle of a next generation future champ, the guy, right? And obviously, he got some respect back from beating Korean Zombie. And let's not forget, man, and I led that train too. Um, there was a lot of hate for Ortega going up to Fight Week versus Korean Zombie. And there was a lot of mockery of his name, and he set us straight. I'm not gonna lie, he kind of humbled me. Watching that performance, I was impressed. But I feel like he still has something to really prove. People have put championship expectations on him, and he has to meet that quota. And I feel like beating a Volkanovski will really put that into a status, and then maybe one day rematching Max Holloway. And I never forget that. A lot of people thought he was going to beat Max Holloway, and he did not do that. And I feel like it hurt him. If you watch a Thrill and Agony of UFC 231, there was just like moment of him walking out, and he didn't say a word to his coaches, to anybody. He was just silent, just murked up, lumped up in the face, and you can just tell it was the face of a samurai. The face of a samurai knowing that he failed his people, but he was gonna come back, and it's interesting to watch now. But I feel like he has something to prove, and he wants to be champion, and he wants to get that belt back. And Volkanovski wants to let people know he's a legitimate champion, and he is the best featherweight in the world, and he can beat all these contenders. So, I think it's a great fight for both guys, and we need to see it. At number 5, Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. This is a fight we got to see, y'all. I think we're gonna see it, but it's just, oh my God, it's such a great fight. It's such a great fight. Yan and Sterling is such an awesome fight. I've seen Yan fight against really great competition in M1, really good wrestlers. But people obviously want to ask this question: how good is Jan's wrestling? And Aljamain is going to be the number one guy to ask that question. Um, Aljamain is obviously not doesn't have the greatest wrestling credentials, but he's a grinder, and he's worked on his grappling skills, and he's a legitimate threat. His MMA wrestling is legitimate. To see what he did to Corey Sandhagen was crazy. That was bonkers. You know what I'm saying? And his striking looked good in the Pedro Munoz fight. Yan, he's shown us a little bit of what he could do. In the he hasn't shown enough, but I know what he's able to do. Go watch some of his M1 fights. He's a monster. He is not a one-dimensional fighter, and I think both guys are. This is an important fight for both guys. Yan needs to show that he is not one-dimensional. That he is more than just a boxer or a really good Muay Thai fighter from Tiger Muay Thai. No, he is a complete MMA fighter, and I think like and the reason why I'm saying this is because I was talking to somebody and they told me that it feels like Jan's one dimensional. He's not, and Aljamain Sterling's gonna come out here and try to prove that he is the best. That Aljamain has made this point that he's fought better competition than Yan. He is better than Yan. Also proved that that Marlon Moraes knockout didn't stop him. And he got victory and got gold. Despite of that knockout, and I feel like that's something important to him to prove, and it's a great fight for both guys. And at number 4, the rematch of Davis and Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. I don't really need to say a lot about this. These guys need to fight each other. We need to see it in 2021. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see it in 2021. This is a great fight. Y'all know me. I'm a story guy kind of guy. I love storylines, and I felt like there was a storyline between Davis and Moreno. A storyline that I feel like is better than him fighting or Figueiredo fighting Cody Garbrandt. I feel like the storyline that developed between Moreno and Figueiredo is kind of awesome. You got this cutthroat champion that is just a mean guy, the king of the flyweights, the emperor of the flyweights, whatever you want to call him, just a just a monster. To see what he did to Joseph Benavidez was fucking destruction, and it was crazy. Like I thought it was gonna be a good fight. I thought the rematch was gonna be decent, and he destroyed Joseph. It was almost like the crowning of a king. He used Joseph's body as a throne, basically, when he took that belt. And it was insanity what he did to him. And then what he did to Perez and just submitting him, taking him out, and just showing how great he is. But what I like about Figueiredo and Moreno fight is that how mean and cutthroat he is, but how humble, Brandon Moreno is, and how you cannot love this guy. If you watch the embeddeds or just watch his whole entire career, and it's crazy how many people were doubting him. And I guess you can put me into inclusion, but the one guy I got to give credit to, Fight Game Pro, really gave Brandon Moreno a lot of credit. And even me, and when listening to him and I seen Moreno come out, and during that entrance for the fight, I could tell, man, that kid was not going to quit. I didn't like him being all nice and everything, like as you can see in the picture at the face-off side. I was like, I wasn't sure about that. I didn't like that kind of response. But he turned on that killer. He turned on that assassin baby or whatever. And he was a murderer. And what I love about the dynamic about that fight and the storyline is just how Figueiredo kind of cheated, right? And how he poked him in the eye with the low blow. It was so trash, man. I laughed, bro. And how Moreno willed himself and kept fighting and fought a great fight. And put on, I mean, phenomenal, awesome pressure in the fourth round, and just show what kind of competitor he is, and it's just awesome. There's just, I don't know, it's just, you felt it, like it was just a crazy fight, and I want to see it. I want to see them run it back, and I think it's gonna be an awesome fight. But at number 3, I got Weili Zhang versus Rose Namajunas. I know what the reports are saying. They want to put fucking Carla Esparza in there, and it is what it is with that. But Weili Zhang versus Rose, I think, is an awesome fight. I think it's a really significant fight for the strawweight division to really crown the undisputed best strawweight in the world. I know Weili Zhang, she has a really awesome record, but I honestly didn't understand why they gave her the title shot after she beat Tisha Torres. I understand people in my comments say, oh, no one wanted to fight her, this and that, and I guess I get it. But I honestly feel like, personally, they just wanted a main event on that China show, and, they had Weili Zhang, and I guess they offered Jessica Andrade a lot of money to go there and do that fight. But it is what it is. It's just my humble opinion. But I feel like Weili Zhang proved, a lot in the Joanna fight. But also at the same time, we still have a lot of questions because there were expectations of her to knock out an old Joanna. It's weird. Like, either you respect Joanna or you don't, because it's like the same people that dissed her are the same people saying, "Wow, look at what Weili Zhang did to her face," and it's like, wasn't she supposed to do that to her? Wasn't she supposed to finish her quicker? Like, yeah, it's one of those things. So you got questions like that. And Rose, coming off she had a really good fight, but the split decision victory over Jessica Andrade, she got yeamed up in the third round. And I think with this fight with her, and she has to go out there and kind of prove that she wants to be champion one, that some of her mental issues have been conquered, and that she is the best strawweight in the world. That beating Joanna wasn't a fluke. And I think if she beats Weili, she'll prove that, and Weili will just, by beating Rose, will prove that she's the undisputed best strawweight in the world. And I feel like that's a big question. I feel like I don't think she is the best strawweight in the world. I think she is one of them, but I know she's the champ. But I still think she needs to beat Rose to really prove that. And at number 2 for 2021, I got Kumar Usman versus Gilbert Burns. This is a fight that I think about a lot. And it's a crazy fight. Their teammates, the dynamic, the grappling prowess, and how good these guys have gotten in their striking. Obviously, you can say Burns is better than Usman, but Usman's not that bad. And it's just a crazy dynamic, and I just really think this is a fight we need to see. And I truly believe Colby Covington is a guy that can beat Usman. I really, even after watching the first fight, I really do think Colby has a good chance, and he's up there. But I would be lying to you by not saying if I don't, by saying that Gilbert Burns is probably the dangerous opponent, the most dangerous opponent for Kumar Usman. I really honestly believe that. I like Colby. I'm just biased. Colby's my boy. I'm a Colby Covington fan, but Gilbert is a serious guy at 170, and what he did to Woodley and his performance against Maya was really just, man, it's eye opening. But I think what makes this fight really special is that the fact they're teammates, and that's what makes Gilbert really dangerous. Is that he has been in there with Usman, and I think Usman knows it, and I think it's going to be a great fight. I don't think there's going to be any heat necessarily on the outside, but under the surface, I really do think that these guys are going to bring it, and there's going to be real tension between both of these guys when we see them stare down, and I think it's going to be an awesome, awesome fight. But at number one, the fight we need to see in 2021 is Jon Jones versus either Stipe Miocic or Francis Ngannou. Basically, the winner of Stipe versus Francis when they fight, and that's also a fight we need to see. I think this is a fight especially John versus. I personally think Stipe is going to beat Francis, just being honest. But John versus Stipe, I think that is, something we need to see. We got two guys. I feel like Stipe has crowned himself as the heavyweight GOAT. John, whatever you want to doubt it or not, steroids or anything, he is the light heavyweight GOAT, and I feel like that would be an awesome fight. Two GOATs, I wouldn't say they're in their prime, but they're in there. I guess they're winning prime. They are winning, and they have great momentum. And this is a fight we need to see, man. Like, I love that. But if Francis ends up, KOing, Stipe, that's a great fucking fight. The Predator, making his comeback after losing to Stipe and losing to Derrick Lewis, and then going on that streak of knockouts and then knocking out Stipe, and then potentially if he knocks out John, that would be awesome. And if John can beat either Stipe or Francis and legitimizing himself, I think as the greatest fighter of all time in the UFC and doing what he did would be, amazing. To do that against guys that are they call him the baddest men on the planet for a reason, and to do that to a guy like Francis or Stipe, just destroying them, I think that would really legitimize John and make kind of people forget about the steroids and stuff like that. But that's it for me, y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have a great Sunday, and can't wait for the fights to start. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram, my Twitter. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Obviously, go click that notification button. Love y'all, and goodbye.